It's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday. Good night, good day, whatever time it is when you greet and meet this conversation with the Sippin' Chat, Sips and Chat, Sips and Chat. We need a four song. Daryl, you gonna sing for us? We need a song.
Um, I'll sing a solo. Solo, you can't hear me.
I like that. I like that. So come on into the room. Welcome to the Sip and Chat Flow. I am rocking with my cute little glass. It should be wine, but it is 18. My favorite friend with some pineapple juice and ice. Well, it's no ice. Um,
Who made it?
I did.
Okay.
Look,
he's always up in your business, Miss Mary.
I know he trying to go. He trying to get some passport stamps with somebody.
Listen, I know, like somebody made a drink 2 weeks ago, and it was looking like I don't know if somebody was in the room.
They wasn't in the room. They had left. They had set me up. And then they was like, all right, you good?
They sent her off right.
Yes.
There you go.
They knew what kind of day it was. I needed to be set up. So, Miss April, how you living? I think I already saw you had a special situation going on over there.
Yeah, I do. I always have special situations over here.
I don't know. Some weeks you be trying to go H2O on us. I don't know.
Actually, I got a little bit of left. You know, I had a little inspiration earlier today. So, but this is the last of what I have, which is a little strawberry. What is it? I'm a strawberry lemonade and some vodka. That's it.
That's what the inspiration was? The vodka?
Yeah. Yeah. We want to leave it at
Girl,
that.
she's telling the truth, right? That's the story she's helping us to stick to, right?
Right.
She like, okay, go ahead to Daryl. Leave me alone. Go ahead to Daryl.
What inspired you?
It's on a need to know basis.
We hear that answer often, don't we, Daryl?
You know what I mean? And we need to know at this point.
Little situationship.
You said what kind of shit?
Situationship, isn't that what you?
That's in the heading today. Okay, situationship. So, Daryl, how you living
over there? I'm good. Really, I am good. Good week. Good things happen, so I'm happy.
You had a birthday celebration for your young queen last week. You was hype.
Oh,
I'm sorry. What'd you say? What happened?
Celebrations are still going.
That's because she's a true queen. Yes. Yeah. She's a true queen. So, what'd you say, April?
I have to start doing that, celebrating all month long. This is our April month too.
I usually celebrate for the whole month. I kick it off right after I finish Thanksgiving griddles all the way to December the 23rd when my season is over.
Nice.
Yes. Del Rico's in the comments saying, hey, family.
Hey, Del Rico.
Hey, what's up, Del?
You was on when the lights go out last night, right, Daryl?
Yeah, I checked it out. I liked that. It was cool. It was definitely a great conversation, and I learned a little bit more about what it is to be in the league.
Definitely was a lot of gems shared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, LaWanda, for liking and loving our video and sharing it with your community on your page. So in the green room, as usual, but this time we was a little on the serious side. We started talking about some current events. So, Daryl, you want to, I guess, drop that science? What's the current events we want to share? Or question, I guess.
We were talking about the young lady who was shot and killed in the midst of the fight, where the other young lady, came to her home. And we were just kind of giving our take on what we kind of our take on we have people. This sparked the debate whether she should have been shot or whether something else could have been done, and it's also very tragic. I believe. I believe that I think things happen very fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I saw, with what information officer had just pulling up and things moving so quickly, I think he did what he was trained to do.
And what exactly does that mean?
Well,
because some people can hear that differently.
Yes, and I think as far as protecting and serving, if you see someone being attacked with a weapon, I think you have to respond. Now, could he have used a taser? Could he have used a gun? Those things are up in the air. They go either way. I don't know if the taser would have stopped her at that point. She seemed so irate, with the barbed hit. I mean, one girl's life was safe, right? I know we see one, they're like, he killed a black girl, but he saved a black child as well.
Right.
So it's tough. I think in this case, both can be right? He could have maybe did something different, something that police have mindset when about to call with melanated people that is more lethal than others. I can kind of agree, I guess, with something from Singer. But in this case, I think that we want to believe videos, like we believe what we saw with George Floyd. In this video, I have to believe what I saw, and I myself feel that it's tragic that he did save a life.
So, but you added something in the green room that you ain't say here. Why are you drinking water, Ronnie? Like, who does that? You hanging out with Daryl today? Drinking water.
I'm gonna have to drink to that.
Right? I'm with you, April.
We got you, Ronnie.
Yeah, we take care of you. We take care of you. In the green room, you shared that she, I guess, was being held accountable for her room not being clean.
So again, I'm not really sure. This is kind of I've heard some different things. They said that the girls were actually fighting. They were calling her room dirty and things of that nature. Saying, I think she was adopted, if I'm not mistaken. And they're kind of appeasing her. And they followed her home.
Okay.
They definitely followed her home. They went to her house.
Well, that's like harassment and anxiety all building up, all while you going home and somebody following you.
They followed her, and it's crazy because I think, again, if I'm getting the story correctly, she called the police. She called her, I think it was her grandfather and grandmother, and the grandfather, I think, was out there with her. So it seemed like she made some good decisions. But then we went outside to confront the girls over there, and fight ensued, including grandfather who was there kicking the girl in the face. So I mean, I hear we're talking about the officer and things of that nature, but as a parent, I think that at a certain point, especially when I see the police pull up, that's when we stop or we run, right? I'm going to grab my daughter, or I think because her voice, she's not going to hear any other voice, but if he might have said something that might have stopped her, because that's a familiar voice that she knows, trust, and respect. So if he's like, hey, stop, maybe that would have stopped. The police are not going to stop her, nobody else, she doesn't know who they are. I just think that maybe, he could have did something as well to maybe stop once the police get there. But again, it happens very fast. And until you have to make a split-second decision on life or death, it's really easy to armchair quarterback. But, it's just tough. It's tough. And it's tragic. No matter how we slice it, it's just a very tragic event. And it's sad for everybody involved.
Right. And it also, it lends to, like, mental health is real, and that adrenaline that builds up when you're feeling, I guess, attacked or uncomfortable or something like that. I mean, you don't have to have a diagnosis because we all experience mental health on a every single day basis. So it's like being able to just kind of regulate and cope with whatever decisions are being flooded to you at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ronnie, we hope you feel better.
Yeah.
We hope you feel better. So, any other April? Did you want to comment on this situation?
I think Daryl kind of summed it up for me because I share the same perspective. You know, looking at the video, you know, I don't know the backstory at this. Looking at the video doesn't really change my opinion on anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that the officer, you know, approached her, it was a lot of action that was taking place, you know, pretty quickly. He had to make a quick decision. Like Daryl said, it's a matter of saving one person's life. You know, I've heard arguments, well, he didn't have to, you know, issue 4 shots, you know, but in the heat of the moment, all you're thinking about is saving a life. You
Right.
know, she had a knife in her hand. It was clearly seen. She was coming at the other young lady. Rather, and to me at that point, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. It's a matter
Mm-hmm.
of saving a life. So I think in this incident, I don't, without a doubt, I think the officer made the right choice at that particular time. You know,
But
whether
could he have just shot her to stop her versus shoot her to
so
kill her?
so here's the thing, because my son and I we talked about it. We reviewed the video. He thought maybe he could have shot her in the leg to stop her. I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, first of all, you got two moving objects. You got two moving objects. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I the only person that probably could have prevented, because his argument was he could have shot her in the arm, you know, prevent her. Okay, well, only a marksman, I think, at that point would probably be um, able to do something like that. And you have to be really experienced. I don't know how experienced this officer is because,
Mm-hmm.
again, she was coming at her. They were really close in contact, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, she was ready to do damage. So he didn't have a choice but to shoot with the biggest part of her, so to stop her. And then at some point, um you know, and sometimes rather, you can shoot someone and it's still not stop them. I said depending on the amount of adrenaline, and at that particular time, I think there was a lot of adrenaline
Mm-hmm.
flowing with the young lady that had the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so who's to say that one shot would have stopped her? You know, is just a reaction. Whether he was trained to do that or not, it was just a matter of saving a life. You know, I think of myself as a parent, or if I was there, I would have, you know, if there was something, some sort of weapon, I would have used it because something needed to shock her, drop the knife. You know,
Mm-hmm.
something, there had to been some type of intervention to save that other young lady's life. And that's what was most important at that particular time. You know, that's just my opinion. I thought about it, you know, and coming behind this, you know, Floyd trial and everything. Yes, we're all, I mean, and not just Floyd, but just historically, you know, how police respond to us. This
Mm-hmm.
is that situation.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to look at this particular situation a little bit differently. It was a matter of saving this young woman's life.
So does it seem similar to the West Philadelphia situation where the gentleman also had it was a mental health emergency call type thing, and he was waving his hands? They thought it was
No, I
no.
think it's different.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's different. I think it's. I
I
would say
haven't
it's
been
different
able
though.
to follow it and actually needed to disconnect from social media at the time that it was happening. Probably also teaching my class, but yeah. So I don't really know all of the details, and I kind of been self-caring.
Yeah, with that one, it was, he was walking around the car and things that they could have let him continue to walk until they got more help. They didn't have to take that action at that time. He was focused on one of the officers. They were far enough away where they didn't necessarily have to, I believe, engage. I don't believe
There wasn't another person involved.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
It wasn't like he was going after anyone except for the officer.
Right.
At that point, yeah. At that point.
Yeah, at that point. I think a lot of friends and family out there kind of knew, like, hey, this is so and so who has these issues.
Right. All right. Any other maybe a lighter current event, or we good with current events?
Well, I like to bring up the incident where the woman was protesting in the middle of the street, and there was a social worker that came to assist her. And I like the fact that the officers eventually they backed off. Eventually, they backed off, but I thought that was a very profound message that she gave to not just to the officers, but it was about mental health, and also a message to us as a Black community. Like we need to support each other, and nobody was there to support her.
Just recording.
Yeah, exactly. And we say that we had enough of the disparities within our community when it comes to our contact with the police, but where are we to support one another?
Right.
So I thought that incident was profound. It resonated with me.
Okay. Yeah, it was deep.
It was
deep. Daryl, I didn't get a chance to share with you as April was saying it. I was like, oh, I didn't share it with Daryl. I will, so you could also see it as well.
Okay.
Because it was a loud statement, like not necessarily loud in tone, but a loud statement for a community call to action.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I see you looking like, okay, I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't see the video.
Like, I didn't see that one yet.
Yeah.
Like, it was all right here.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah. I didn't know.
Like she just sat in that street and she was just like, I'm tired. Like I felt her struggle. I felt her mental struggle. Like we are tired. We are tired. And there has to be something done, in reform, us as a community, systemically. There were so many different messages in that scenario.
Absolutely. All right, so it's Friday, sips and chat, and Daryl never sips. He only hydrates. We always dehydrate with our sips in our chat. If we go from the health perspective of Daryl. But we are here this night to talk about consequences of boundaries in relationships and like what does that actually mean? Is it the same? Is it different if it's long term or if you're dating? And then of course, somebody in the green room, I won't put them out because then they'll give me the look and I don't want the look just yet. It's too early for the looks, too early. They mentioned something about situationships because I thought about situationships as I was preparing. I was like, okay, how do boundaries work in all of these different situations or relationships? So where are we going to start? Darrell? Actually, no, your name's still Daryl right now, right?
I mean, boundaries could be good, could be bad. I think boundaries should be set earlier. You should kind of get know what your boundaries are earlier than later. Because don't want to get into something, then the person's like, got to put lotion on skin. You need to know what you're getting into. And I think people wait too long sometimes to really kind of tell the expectations. you know, and then now you're in something and you're trying to conform to something that maybe not you, maybe not what you want it to be, and that doesn't work well.
It doesn't. Or if you're trying to be loose in your boundaries, and when I say loose, I mean like not really be confined by boundaries because you want this person to be cool with you.
Yep.
So you
I
sacrifice
remember,
yourself.
like, so smoking is a thing that I don't really do.
Mm.
But I remember one time a girl was like, you know what? Okay, you smoke, that's your thing. Uh, and I tried, but I just couldn't because it's just on the. I like I can't do this. So many people seem to do around me. It was just that I could smell it. I guess from not smoking, it just was very intense for me. And I was trying, but then it's funny. It felt like I was more irritable. I'm like, I'm so irritable. She smoked and it was
Right.
bothering me. You know. So in that case, I was like, I'm not gonna do that again. That's not to me. That's a non-negotiable. Right? That's something that I can't negotiate that because it just doesn't work. So I mean, if it was Beyonce and smoke, I'm like, look, it's not gonna work.
It could work with Beyonce, but not just a regular old lawyer,
It's not gonna work. I mean,
contractor, social
I'm gonna hit
worker.
it. I'm still gonna hit it, but it's not gonna work long term.
You
Oh,
see where he took this already, April?
yes, you see me, right? Oh, here we go.
I'm just gonna. Hey, listen, Beyonce, I can't deal with it. The smoke was going to, we we're gonna do it.
I have to say, smoking is a non-negotiable for me for the most part too. I mean, I dated a guy that years ago that smoked, and I'm like, just couldn't do it. Just couldn't. The scent of it, and I'm not a smoker. I've never been a smoker, so I'm like extra sensitive to it. I put my family members out of my vehicle because it's like, you smell like smoke, get away. I mean, I don't do it, but it's really a mental struggle for me. It really is. So I don't entertain that. So that would be a boundary, definitely. That it's like, man.
What's the wow for?
Ronnie, what's the wow for?
We need that wow explained.
So, but I did want to ask Daryl, like, at what point do you set? I agree. You do have to establish your boundaries early, but how early?
Well, again, it depends what they are. Like the smoking one, usually, if I see you smoking, then I'm like, listen, that's not going to work.
Right.
If you can quit today, maybe we can move forward. But if you can't, then it's not something that
if they could quit today,
we're not
they
going to
wouldn't
work.
be smoking today.
Hey, how bad do you want this? That's the question we're asking.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, certain things like that. I have a daughter, so she comes first, second, third, and fourth. Understand that, right? If you can't, then this is not going to work, right? If I said something that escaped me.
Well, let's give Liz a shout out from St. Lucia, sending us a good night to lots of love from the beautiful island of St. Lucia.
Hello, Liz. I bet those waters are nice, warm,
nice and warm and comfy. Yes.
Oh, yes, nice, warm and comfy and wet.
Oh Lord! Oh my gosh!
Talking about the water.
Not the way you gave that look. You paused like, okay, and wet.
I mean,
like you did the and wet, and let me pause to see where this goes.
I feel water. I feel rain.
You can feel water in both situations.
Let the rain on me. Okay.
Oh goodness. The exception is only Beyonce.
No, I mean smoking. I can hold it. This is not gonna work. You know what I mean? Smoking something is disgusting, and I don't like the smell, or this is not something I really want around me. So I just wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like so, and I tried it once, right, and it just did not work for me at all.
Mm-hmm. You mean you tried smoking, or you tried being with someone who's smoking?
Being with someone who smoked. I was like, you know what?
Oh.
I mean, and it didn't. It just was it was an annoyance. The time they had to leave to go smoke and things of that nature in the middle of something every 5 minutes or whatever the case would be. Just to me, it just seemed, like another person that was in a relationship that we had to deal with, and I just didn't want to deal with that person. I had to break that threesome up.
The cigarettes was the threesome?
Yeah, because it seemed like the smoke was a person. They had to take time out for it. Right. They had to go get it. They had to pay for it. They had to do things for it. They had to make room for it, make time, and it became a part of the relationship,
Mm-hmm,
and it had value, that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it no matter what we were doing, at a certain point, she would have to attend to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was and then you come back smelling like that person, right? So it's like, I don't need that threesome. Be all up on you. I'm good.
That's so funny that it becomes a whole person, but you're right, because it is a whole person. It's a whole persona and personality. Let me, before because it's like people commenting on this whole smoking being a person. Liz, I did receive your message. I did not get a chance to share it with the crew yet. I will. So I did get your message. I didn't want to ignore that comment. Mm-hmm. So yeah, smoking is definitely serious, but you know what? I've never thought about it the way that you just said, like it being a person. Definitely didn't think of it being a threesome, but when you break it down like that, wow. I mean, because the smell lingers, it's in your hair, it's in your clothes, it's the whole situation. So then here's the question: is weed smoking in the same category? Because everybody don't smoke loud. Some people smoke where it's not so loud and disruptive.
Yeah. And I'm saying, I guess it's still, the smell is still there, kind of. I don't.
They got flavors.
I haven't really. I don't know. And I think one girl do it, but I didn't know. Like, I found it in her house a couple times. Like, what is this? Oh, I use that from time to time. So she might have did it, but I couldn't really smell it on her, and she didn't do it around me, and I didn't have to make as many accommodations, I guess, for it. I never, she didn't leave a party or anything we were at to do it. Yeah, so it was like she didn't have to leave a party to do it. It wasn't like another person. At such time to do it. No, I think she might have did it to relax at certain times, but it definitely wasn't where it interfered with anything that we were doing. And like I said, the smell wasn't there. So that was, to me, if she was doing it, it was fine, because I didn't even know if she was or she wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, like, what else falls into the same category as smoking as being like a I don't know, like a non-negotiable? Well, I'm sorry, April, did you want to speak on the weed smoking thingy being in the same category?
I've dated a guy that smoked weed. It did, at that particular time, it didn't bother me.
Were you smoking with him? now we know why it didn't bother her.
I heard it was an enhancement.
That's what you heard?
That's what I heard.
Oh God.
So
so you dealt with it because it was an enhancement of some sort.
Yeah.
It sounds like puff pass.
It worked out. I was a little bit more open to that than I would.
Were you more open to that?
No, she was more open to the repercussions of that.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Mary.
Yes, the vitamin D was going to be working with no problem.
Ooh.
Okay, there you go. Got it. Got it.
But then we got Tanya saying that it could lead to long-term ED. I abbreviated. Really? Yeah, it can. It can.
Okay, I don't know.
It can. I'm sure she got some
So
kind of article or statistics that she could post if we asked her to.
Okay.
Because that's just how
yeah,
she
we
is.
don't need that long-term ED.
Well,
30 days is too long.
I can only vouch for at that moment there was
There was no problems, huh?
no problems.
And when the problem was, it wasn't necessarily that. It was indirectly something else.
There was no problem.
Hey, smoke it or not?
There was no problem.
Hey, I bought you something. I rolled it for you too.
Oh,
Here you go.
Oh, Daryl. All right.
Okay, so Ruth said it's not even short-term ED. Like, it's ED for real. Like, it can mess up your whole life.
Okay.
I never heard that before. I never heard that before, and I know a lot of people smoke, and I don't think that's ever been something I ever heard before. No one's ever like,
they're still a little bit young.
Nah, we got people that our age and older that's still smoking weed. So
Daryl is not our age.
I
know people.
He's in our age bracket.
All ages, yeah.
I know.
And then I was
messing.
I've never heard. I've never heard a conversation of that being a problem at all.
Yeah.
No one's ever said like, yo, that weed. Like, I think guys would kind of talk.
It was good.
See, I just didn't know that. And then maybe I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying this is the first time I've ever heard that those two together. Weed and ED.
They give men boobs too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Weed? How?
Because they like if you smoke too much, then it start growing there.
I mean, what's in there?
Gynomastia? I mean, no, that would be like gynomastia. I don't know.
Full woman boobs, but boobs.
Maybe because they're eating. So the only way it could be because they're eating a lot and they're getting the munchies and they're getting, getting the fat that comes around because it goes around. But other than that, I can't see smoking giving you.
You can't see boobs. We ain't talking. We talking about herbology. Not no Newport 100s. Yeah. I mean, even though that has cancer in it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but so it has to increase your fat, right? Because that's boobs or your fatty tissue going over the muscle, which makes it.
So you saying women with big boobs is just fat?
That's why they can't move them.
You said that's why if you lose, women with big boobs is fat?
No, there's fat. It's fat in your boobs. That's what it is. Like so. If you lose weight, usually you lose your boobs because you're losing fat. Like that's what boobs are filled of. So it's fat tissue. There's muscle under there, but the leaner you are, that's why if you make it like if I'm making my chest move, that's because I'm leaner and you can see it move and the muscle move under there. A woman, if she has a lot of bigger breasts, you don't see them move as much because it's more fatty tissue.
Fatty tissue around the muscle.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next conversation.
Right.
Is there anything that's similar to smoking? Like as far as having that reaction what about butts?
Wait, look, distractions,
right?
What cigarette butts? Yeah. What are we talking about? Cigarette butts?
I think probably weed butts or the cigarette butts.
Huh? Booties, or booties?
About booties or the smoke butts?
Yeah, what are we talking about here? And what about them? That question was so ambiguous. I'm not sure what it means about them. Okay, what about them? What about those butts?
She said no fat loss. There's no fat loss with butts.
So a butt is muscular, right? Your butt is a muscle. Unless they're injecting fat and stuff in there, but your butt is a muscle, so you make your butt grow by overloading, stimulating the muscle. Overloading the muscle will help the butt grow. So squatting, heavy weight, low reps, your butt can grow. If you start a lot of fat, that's how you get the dimples and things like that nature. You just can't So butt is different than the boobs. You can actually work, do squats to increase the size of your butt. You can't squat to increase the size of your boobs.
All right. So what other things will we need boundaries for? I did come up with the definition of boundaries.
Okay, let's hear it.
Go with it. Let's go.
So I had the boundaries being defined as they show or help a person figure out where one person ends and the other begins, or something that you're comfortable with and how you want to be treated. Like you showing somebody like how you wanted to be treated.
So respect.
Okay, but that's
Well,
arbitrary.
what does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, that respect is very different. And people look at it very different.
To different people, like to the three of us, even on this panel, like it can mean different.
Absolutely.
Because somebody might like their butt smack, and that's not disrespect, but the next person will be like, "Yeah, I don't like that."
Or
it makes
even
me feel like a trap queen.
Sometimes how we speak to each other. I had an incident where I said something like something like 3 times in a row. They said something and I said the same thing 3 times in a row, and they're like, "You're disrespecting me. What you think I can't hear? I don't have auditory issues, huh?" I was just really answering your question. Like I was really, you said it, I said it, you said it, I said it, you said it, I said it. Did you forget you said it? So respect is it can be very, different. Like that, depending on the baggage, how they interpret what is respect and what is disrespect.
Mm-hmm. So then Tanya took us to the body count. Some body counts don't count.
Hey, listen,
some bodies don't
if you
count.
Gotta hide it, you need to be proud of your body count. If you can't be proud of it, then
if they didn't make me if they ain't make me feel the right way, then it don't count.
It counted to him, so that's all that mattered. Once he got in them peaches, it counted.
Oh,
but if you ain't treating the peaches right, it say how you want to be treated. If the peaches ain't right.
So this is where we
here we
have
go,
to,
April, right?
No, I'm saying, well, listen. This is where we kind of differ because he finished, so he was right, so he's good. So in his mind, he completed, and that's the problem for them. In the most part, women don't complete at the rate that men do. We're at like 99%. You guys, I don't know where you guys are at. But you fake, so we don't know what you guys are doing. But
because it depends on if our mind is where you want it to be.
Absolutely. So I mean, I say keep faking. We're finishing. There it is.
What happened?
Keep faking. We're finishing.
Ooh.
Why are we defined by men and their presence in our space? What about him?
So I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah, you lost me. What you mean we defined by men and their presence in regards to boundaries or the body count?
Excuse me.
No problem. You making me cough.
I mean, and if the body count, society does have this societal norm, yada 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 yada, that the double standard where a woman, if she's out there, sowing her oil per se, it's a problem. And if we have a high body count, we kind of get celebrated for it. So it's a double standard. We understand that. But if we feed into it, we become a problem. So when we start being ashamed of our body count, I love you.
It's like when we come in the St. Lucia.
Oh. I'm packing my bag of Gatorade.
Oh. As you were saying, sir.
Wait a minute. How do you count your partners? If somebody's in you, that's one. I mean,
no, that's not one. All those partners don't count. Especially could be if it's a situationship shouldn't count.
Okay, so this is like there's no such thing as man women anymore. There's this is what we're getting into. It's really simple, right? It's really simple. If I split the pieces, if you split the pieces, that's one. I don't care what you say. That's it. That's intercourse.
No, because if the peaches. April, can you please chime in?
All
peaches ain't good peaches.
it ain't about good or bad. Guess what? You eat if you eat a spoiled egg, you eat a spoiled egg. If you ate it, I mean, yes, I ate it. You did. So once it's in you, that's one. Mm-hmm.
If he ain't do it right, it ain't right.
That's delusional. He was in you. Let it happen.
It's not delusional.
he,
Whoa.
and oral is definitely tough. So, but
Why is that tough?
well, I mean, because people look at it differently. But I think once you take that treat, really, you
I'm
got
just
it.
trying to figure out, how does this all relate to boundaries?
You know what? You just stay on whatever topic we on, okay? We're right here right now. Don't try to get out of the conversation. You always try to take it. We here now.
In the sense of, like what people will allow and how they get there, and like
okay.
So I think
easy say the cigarettes don't match boundaries, but they did.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess penetration is penetration. So if the penetration lips, you count it. But
it's people who receive oral and never penetration and consider themselves virgins because they don't want to cross that boundary due to their spiritual compass.
Yeah, I call them liars. But you know, you can lie to yourself. But again, once you are penetrated, you're penetrated. Tongue, you know. But then we have fingers. I don't know. If it's fingers, are we counting those? I don't know.
Oh my God.
But I'll say tongue and penis. I count. You are on the board. You are on the board. You're in the game. Now we got separate categories. Like this is the oral category. This is the.
There you go, Tanya. I like that one.
So that's cool. And I mean, so if I'm trying to move on with someone, at a certain point, I don't know what questions would be outside of our boundaries if we're trying to move forward and we're getting forward at the time. I don't know what secrets could be had, you know.
So what I got from that was, you know, having full disclosure, you know, whether if you're the first thing that comes to my mind is
you don't have to behave.
Your relationship,
Turn up, Tanya.
You know, outside of us. You know, are there any others? You know, your boundary could be the fact that you're only going to date someone exclusively versus being open. So
I think that's big. You're right, April. That's big right there. That's a big thing because people look at it very different. Some people say you can date multiple people. Some people say you should date only one person at a time.
Right.
It's weird because I think if I'm dating one person at a time, we're in a relationship. That's weird to me. I mean, so I think, but then it's tough because we're dating multiple people. Well, because if I just meet you and we're talking about, you know, we should only date that person, like I said, we're exclusive already, I'm good. That's not how relationships work. But then again, if you're dating a lot of people, how do you start cutting people off? You know, it might be two girls that, you know, you can't cut off. And now you're dating two girls 3 years in and you're still the situation shit.
But offering that transparency, you know, from the beginning, as you stated before, you know, allows the other person to, you know, identify this is going to be a boundary or establish that boundary. So transparency is definitely, you know, important if you consider it.
But and transparency is a vulnerable point of interaction though too, because a lot of times being that type of transparent means that you are trusting that person in a way that you haven't trusted them before. And that they're not going to violate you once you cross this line to share with them more of you than what you had before.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. When you put
Except
down
for
those walls,
Except for Daryl.
and when you start putting down those walls is really the question. So you can't let everybody in you meet. You don't want to.
But how do
Everybody
you
always
begin to gauge? Like, how do you begin to gauge what is okay for personal space and when are you going too far?
Right.
This makes me think about like back in the day when we used to work in person.
She said back in the day.
Back in the day.
When we used to ride dinosaurs to work.
Yes.
It was so long ago, right?
So long ago, back in the day. And
you need
we've
to put
talked.
that back up, Mary.
I need what?
Put that back up. What Tanya said.
She said women be lying. Is that what she said?
No, bros be lying.
Stop. Women lie way more than men.
But women don't lie until they've been violated with their boundaries.
No. Well, I don't know. Listen, whatever your reason is, I know that women lie way more than men. I know many times in relationships at the beginning where.
But do you know
we were talking? Huh?
But do you know that they're lying?
Yes, I was about to tell you how. So in the beginning, you're talking, you're telling these stories, you're telling about yourself, and I'm really open person. I'm telling that, and then 5-6 months in, they'll say something, and I'm like, that's not what you said in the beginning. Well, I didn't want to tell you in the beginning because I didn't think it was this. So I kind of lied about it. That happened so many times.
I wouldn't say
lie about things.
Why can't it be withholding information until we build trust?
Omissions of fact. Well, it's really. If I ask you a question, you don't have to lie. You can say, you know what? I'm not comfortable talking about that right now. Okay, but if you lie about it, that means you're a liar. It's not going to work. So I'd rather you say I can't or I do not feel comfortable talking about that at this time, and we can argue about you not talking about it. Then rather you lied to me about it. That just is what we do. So there we go. We don't have to lie to women. We could just say we don't want to talk about that.
But then you get pressured. Why you don't want to talk about it? Why can't we talk about it right now? And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm asking for permission to like regroup, and the other person won't wait on that regrouping because they absolutely need to know right now.
And that's true. I can see that happening. But then, you have to make a decision like, well, if this dude is so pushy, then maybe he's not for me.
But then, some people hear that the other way. Oh my God, he really cares for me. He wants to know how I feel. And then 3, 6, 9 years later, 3, 6 months or 9 years later, you getting your head bopped on top of because you didn't see the signs.
Oh no, you saw the signs, but you failed to look at it. So if you run a stop sign, you can get smashed by a car. So if the stop sign, you just like, oh, I'm not gonna look at it. This is what happens. So I say women, listen, tell the truth, or say I don't want to answer. Don't give an answer. It's not true, because some of us pay attention, and when you say something different later, I'm like, it's not what you said.
She laughing at me with the head bob.
I remember. Yeah.
I'm saying, like, you don't be trying to get your head bopped, but if you in a situation where you're trying to serve the happiness of other people and you people pleasing, you do miss the signs.
Yeah.
Because you're so busy trying to make sure that person is happy to keep the adrenaline rush that you feel with being around them. So you're like, okay, I need more of that. So that means I got to keep believing this fantasy that I don't know is a fantasy until my head get bopped.
And so what is important to that is that we have to be honest with ourselves. So when we do see these signs, I mean, I think we've all been there where we kind of, didn't. When we look back, we say, yo, the signs are so clear. And we just did not want to pay attention to them because our motives were to, either be with this person, make it work, or yada, 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 yada. But we got to listen to those signs because we don't want to get bopped in the head.
Or just bopped in our emotions too. So it don't always have to be so physical. It could really be bopped in our emotions too. But what I was going to say about the workplace situation is how you become familiar with your coworker. She said she at the store and she laughing outside her mind. You with the coworker, you become familiar because you guys are in the same space, and say you reach over them, or maybe too many times with the perfume on and the boobs in the person's neck, like you expect them not to cross that boundary.
How come people never reach over people they're not attracted to? Weird. I'm just so confused. I never reached over anybody I wasn't attracted to. Gertrude, I would just go around or go get taped somewhere else. So it seems like it seems like we only reach or get into these situations with people that we want to get into these situations with.
I don't got no words.
Let's be honest. No, again, that's because it's true. We put ourselves in positions where we want to be, right? So if we want to be in the situation, I'm reaching across. Oh, because we are crossing and we're intentionally doing it, either whether it's conscious.
It's called
doing it because we listen. It's called putting yourself in position to get those peaches.
Grooming.
Oh, hey.
Strategizing.
Yeah, you making sure the shirt, you got dressed for that move all day long. Like you pre-calculated that you was gonna be in the space and be able to lean over somebody or do something that they was gonna not only smell your perfume or cologne, whatever, it was gonna be a moment.
Like I said, when they got up that morning before work, they thought, what should I wear that they may like? They're thinking about these things.
Or they said, his favorite color is this. What I got in my closet, that's that favorite color.
Or posting pictures, thirsting over them, like, ooh, look at Method Man at 50.
What does that have to do?
I think somebody on this thing posted a picture of Method Man over 50.
And
I think I did see that post right there.
And The Rock,
and they said they posted The Rock and was like, and what's happening next? And I'm like, what's happening next? Is it a movie or are they coming over? Like, which one is it? Which boundary we crossing?
Okay, no, see.
I just stayed out the room. Let me stay out the room for the day.
Right, there you go.
It was
I don't even think that was
night.
even in the
room. See, the audience knows. They know what's next.
You were sending out cold messages? That was girl code?
No. Go ahead.
What I can guarantee is that April was reaching over Method Man to get whatever it was there. Is that a thumbtack? Let me get a thumbtack for you.
How did this turn into me?
Because of your post?
I'm just saying. We're just trying to connect. We're trying to connect the dots.
Okay. All right.
You didn't have to agree. I said somebody in this conversation posted. You ain't had to agree.
But the insinuations, I understand code. I know how to read between the lines.
So some people have prunes and no peaches. Gertrude gets no play.
No, Gertrude is nobody's reaching over Gertrude at all. You can't even get away.
You know what Gertrude? How you know a Gertrude?
Because we see her sitting there by herself, lonely.
Oh Lord! All right.
But see, so then who's really crossing the boundary? Are you manipulating and taking advantage? Because somebody's gonna talk to Gertrude.
They will.
Knowing that Gertrude want more than that situationship.
Absolutely. I mean, people take advantage of every day. And that's because they don't know boundaries, right? And you let people in and you do things. Like I said, most likely, Gertrude probably is going to do more than others trying to, maintain a relationship. And people know that. And they'll take full
because she's getting attention that she doesn't normally get, it's again gonna feel that adrenaline rush, and she's gonna be like, well, I need more of that feeling again. Even though I'm not with
her to push her boundaries.
Yeah, and she gonna start wearing different clothes that she ain't never even thought she could wear before.
Absolutely. I've definitely seen that. I've definitely seen that at work where someone you could tell something new was going on because they had a whole new, their wardrobe was totally different, and you could see it like, ooh, what's his name?
But then the other part could be that
Family.
the person is just really working out and they finally got to their ideal size, but it's read as, oh, something must be happening. You must be trying to be on the menu and
Well, I
seeing
think
some
so
folks.
too, though. They are putting their stuff on the menu. When you get to that new look, you put that body out there for show, right? You want that attention. You definitely, and then the likes and people saying things about it becomes almost a drug, and you crave that. And that new attention, you crave that. I know many people that I've trained, when they get down and they really get down, they like it. It's really, and that helps them go hard because people are approaching me, and they're saying different things, and it becomes a drug, and they go crazy.
Well, it's a lot of things in life that's a drug, and it's unfortunate that some of them do end up crossing boundaries. You end up crossing boundaries to get whatever it is that's satisfying you in that moment.
Like sugar.
Sugar.
The two biggest drugs out there, boy.
Yes, and it's like
that
52
cheating if
names
someone's
for
married,
sugar or 62 names for sugar.
So this is why women cheat way more than men, and this comment is kind of
way more.
Absolutely. If we're talking about the non-contact cheating, if we talk about the thirst trap they put on Facebook or Instagram, if we talk about the outfits they wear to get people to say they look nice and things of that nature, these things they do are cheating. They're trying to get attention from others. So if we're talking about that type of cheating, women cheat way more than men. Because they're always looking for that attention, especially if they're not getting at home, right? The man's not really, he's so used to you and you to him, and he's not paying attention. But the guy at work is paying attention, or the girls at work are paying attention to what you wear, or the guys on Instagram are paying attention.
The breakfast store.
Absolutely, whoever it is, and that attention, you're liking it, and you're doing things to get it, right? That's cheating. That's also cheating. So yeah.
So is that a boundary or not? Or is that like an agreement that you make with yourself, or is it like crossing a boundary?
I think that it could be something someone uses to feel good about themselves, and that's cool. But the problem sometimes is that that attention does turn to something else. Sometimes with certain people, if you get that attention from that one guy, it may, or that one girl, it could start going in a direction, with a work husband, wife, that could lead down. It can be very murky.
Okay.
If you're not asking your husband to go to the company dinner because your work husband's there, it gets murky. It starts getting kind of crazy.
But what if your husband has had a tantrum every time not a tantrum, doesn't really want to go, and so when it is time to go, he makes all of these complaints, so therefore you like, okay, well, I didn't want you to complain, but this is the night of the work party and I'm going by myself.
Well, that's different because he already said, you get to close to your relationship. He doesn't want to go. Now you're not asking him to go. It's straight into your work husband. Then go get your work husband. There you go. You're a cheater.
It don't always have to be a work husband or a work wife. It could really just be, I'm trying to enjoy myself and not deal with your shenanigans.
Enjoy yourself doing what?
At the work party with my coworkers that I work with every day. Back in the day when we used to go to work.
What you gonna be doing at this work party? What happened? That's so enjoying. You know what? You and I going, Mary.
What happened?
You're not going. You ain't going to no work party.
You can't tell me where I'm going. Now I'm really going, and now I'm changing my outfit because you told me I can't go. So now I'm gonna be extra with it.
And I'm changing the locks.
Yeah, okay. Depending on what state I'm in, I'm still all right.
Got you. And again, and that. I think I don't know, right? Some boundaries maybe because, like I said, some boundaries you can't. They're non-negotiable, right? Some things I'm just not going to negotiate on. Like, say when it comes to, say you have children and raising your children. right? There's certain things that I'm going to allow and certain things I'm not going to allow. So there's some boundaries that we're not going to negotiate on certain things. Like you're not going to yell at my daughter. That's not what, and you may be cool, you may be raised to do that, you may think it's okay. That's not going to happen with me, right? I don't yell at her and no one else will. So, so some boundaries I see being non-negotiable. And I will let you know up front, that she will not be, there's no hitting, there's no yelling. I just don't have that, right? We talk things out. That's what it is. There may be loss of something, a phone or something like that for consequence, but that's it. No standing in the corners and that type of stuff. So that's I would say first we can't negotiate, and I think people need to know what are your non-negotiables, and be able to say, look, this is what I'm not going to do.
But at what point between dating and working towards a long-term relationship, or even in a long-term relationship, you begin to mature differently at different stages of that relationship? So how do you stage just having that discussion of what is become a non-negotiable? I just had this conversation in a couple sessions tonight too.
Well, it's weird. I don't know, because I don't, and I can't think, and then maybe you can help me, but I think right now something that comes in that is a non-negotiable, most likely it's going to be a non-negotiable 5 years in, right? I don't know, and I can't think of anything that could change, right? Because that's a non-negotiable. I'm not going to change on my stance with my daughter, right? And maybe some things that come up that I didn't think about that I may say, oh, I'm not for that, or I am for that. I get that, some things come on the spot or during the situation. Situations bring out a lot of boundaries as well. Something happened, we were out, and something happened, and now I'm like, look, that's not really something I like. I had at the time I was out and I was with a girl, and she took a drink off my man, one of my friend's beer. What are you doing? Why are you drinking off his beer? That was weird to me, and I was like, that can't happen again. Because that's like, first of all, you're putting your lips on his lips. That's like kissing him. We're not doing that. I don't know where his mouth been. Let's not do that. So, listen, I know my friends, okay? I know who they are. No, thank you. So that was something we had to talk about. Like, hey, don't do that again. Don't do that again. So that was something that came up that we had to talk about that was not. I was like, I'm not cool with that.
Okay, so if you in a long-term relationship or emerging long-term relationship, and when you got married, you had these particular values and belief systems or whatever that could follow societal norms. But then you have an awakening of some sort.
Okay.
And you decide that some of these societal norms you don't agree with. And like the role of the man or the role of the wife or however that, conversation happens, but you don't really talk to your partner about it. You just begin to have these new views. That's a boundary, and that's a non-negotiable that you thought in the beginning, just because you chose to evolve differently. You didn't include me to evolve with you. So then therefore now it's a disconnect and we arguing every time.
Well, I mean, what you said was a relationship that was, to me, having some issues anyway, because we're not talking, right? I would think that if I'm a partner and I have this new awakening, I want to tell you about it. Like, yo, but I found this out, and I think that I might have been wrong about this, or I'm with this now. I think I would talk to you about it. If I'm not talking to you about these life-changing experiences I'm having, I think that we're already at a point where we're not connected. We're not connected anymore. So there was issues before the awakening of whatever awoken me. There was issues before that, and I think that's something we need to continue to do. Continue as we grow, talk to our partners about our growth or whatever the case may be. So we're just kind of on the same page. Like, you shouldn't.
So let me give you another scenario that happened. Grieving of a physical loss in the family, and your partner doesn't really do the whole grieving thing. They're like, okay, they ain't here no more. Let's keep moving. You're like, no, that was a significant person in my family, and I need to kind of resonate with that. And the partner's not emotionally available. Like that's crossing how it is that we grieve together. And not only are they not emotionally available, you guys are supposed to do a vacation later in the month, and because you took off time for the loss in the family, you now no longer have that time available. And the partner says, well, I'm out. Deuces.
Mm.
So again, and I'm going to jump in because what I do.
That's what you do.
Jump in, Daryl.
My question would be, you didn't know this person was kind of emotionally cold? Like, I think if a person is a certain way, they're kind of that way with everything. So I don't know how you wouldn't know that your person is kind of this way. Now, I see it being an issue because you guys are definitely looking at grieving is different for everybody. So there would have to be, you might need some outside help with working with that, you know, the loss and how you're dealing with how they're dealing. You definitely might need someone to talk to. And if your partner is willing to leave you for vacation, again, I think there's problems way before that vacation. Because if you're not pathetic enough to say, oh, I'm gonna ride with you, then I don't know what type of relationship you have. And that's just for me. In my relationship, I think we should be that way. We should be riding each other through everything. I know some people are not like that. And I'm not saying it's wrong. Some people just move a little differently. For me, I would have an issue with someone who's not riding with me, you know, kind of do whatever.
April, what you think?
So I kind of agree and disagree with what Daryl is.
Yo, you didn't agree with him too many times tonight.
Hey, we're on the same kind of on the same page today.
Okay.
So the part that I agree is that yeah, so if there's an issue where, you know, there's a death in the family, well, let me start off with the part that I disagree with. That when for this particular scenario, sometimes you may not recognize that that person is a little responds to grief differently than you do. They may seem disconnected because it might be the first incident. And you know, depending on when the loss occurred in your relationship, it could have been several years. So you never really came up on that particular experience before or had an opportunity to experience. So it's not until, you know, now per se that you've identified, okay, he's not really supporting me, or he's not there for me. And this is the part that I do agree with you, is there had to have been signs in other scenarios where, you know, he or she was not supportive or distant, you know, and emotionally supporting you. So there probably was red flags that that person ignored, because, you know, just because it's grief, I think the character of that person it manifests, it shows in other situations. So that part that I agree and disagree. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with him.
I'll say I think that sometimes you may sometimes I would say, like, say if you're what's going on? The cup. It's the cup. It's agreement in that cup. She's drinking agreement tonight. But what I'm saying, like, if you guys are watching TV or something and someone dies on the TV, if sometimes how they respond just to what they see, you can kind of tell what type of person they are. You know, like, oh well, they got shot, they got, kind of shows they're not really too, you know, emotionally, that it didn't really bother them at all. You know, so I think sometimes people have tells, and I think they be able to see things in others they do that would lead
Right.
you to say, well, this person may not be the most, they may not, may not show emotion like I would if someone died or
So
something happened.
the example was, okay, well, let's get over this death because we have a vacation planned. That is an example of someone that's just selfish. So, and what I mean is they may have expressed or manifested their selfishness in a different way previously, and that should have been a red flag, but a lot of times in love and infatuation or whatever the case may be, we tend to ignore those red flags, so
I think it was some of that the conversation we had earlier. I think maybe some of that herb psychology make you feel like you don't see all these things, because when the herb psychology is present, all things is good. And then when you are clear minded, or however you want to look at that, then you be like, okay, wait, how do we get here that you just gonna up and go on a vacation and leave me when I'm at my most emotional, vulnerable state?
Right.
So, but I don't know if it's selfish, if this is who the person is, right? So their parent or mom could have died and they could have acted the same way. It could just be them, right? So I don't know if they just handle grief differently. It may not stop them like it stops you. I don't know necessarily is it selfish because they feel they just don't have the same, it don't sting them the same way. But I mean, and I think that if they're going to leave you, that may be something that was already in a relationship where you guys had did this before, right? Maybe, depending if it came up before. So I don't know. Like, this is weird, and this is my way of thinking. It's weird for me to leave someone like that, or someone leave me like that. I'm like, you're gonna do what? You're gonna okay. So so I don't know. I don't necessarily call it because I mean, this may be how they are. They may not be
right. Well, I don't think that it's that they are is one sided, and it's a boundary that has been crossed that was never negotiated. That it was an area that would be of contention. So that's why I just kind of inserted it like as a situation, because it's real.
Yeah, and to deal with that that's one of those things you have to deal with as it comes up. And and really, April had posted a question about
Oh, that's why y'all in agreement. He been watching all your posts.
Well, no, I did see that one. It was I can't remember the wording. It was something about do you talk on I don't talk all day. You remember what it was?
Recent? I mean, today?
Yeah, I think it was today.
I think I saw it today.
Listen. It was something like, do you talk to your partner all day, or do you have to talk to them? I can't
yeah. So is it necessary to have a conversation, to talk to your, it was a Michael Bazin repost actually.
Okay.
So, and the question and just summary basically was, is it necessary to talk to your partner every day? Let me see if I can pull it up.
Okay, so then we could go to the. What you gonna say, Daryl?
Yeah, here it is. So during the dating process, are you someone who needs to talk daily?
Wow.
Absolutely.
Why they gotta have the word need on there?
Well, I do. I again. So I remember I had this conversation, and I thought I was regular, and they were like, "No, we don't need to talk every day." I think if I'm trying to get this, I thought so. Like, I was really like thrown back because people. I'm like, I want to. If I'm trying to get to know you, I want to talk to you, right? Me not talking to you, I'm not getting to know you. That's weird. And I feel like if I'm not talking to you, somebody else is. So I'd rather be the one talking to you. But people have said things like, say it's Sunday, and they talking to the guy or girl, and they're like, hey, we're gonna go out next Saturday. They're talking until Saturday. I forgot you by Wednesday if I ain't talked to you. I need to talk to you. We need to talk all week long. And somebody's, well, I want to talk about everything before Saturday. Okay, if your conversation is limited, then we ain't gonna work anyway. So for me, I am a person who needs to talk to you on a regular basis. Like I'm not trying to talk to you to not talk to you. That's weird. Like, I'm get your number, not use it.
So let me interject. He said, so if your goal is marriage or an exclusive relationship, then you need to establish um establish if you have compatible communication needs. So it depends on what your goal in that relationship is. So if you're looking for marriage or a long-term relationship, then that daily interaction, that daily communication is, especially if you're new to each other, then it needs to be ongoing because you're learning that person. And that's what I got from that. Go ahead.
Sounds silly. I don't care what your relationship is. You need to talk to them. If I'm just trying to get the draws, guess what I got to do? Talk to you to get the draws. No matter what it is, I can't just do it sporadically because, again, other people get your attention. You know, women are going to go to who's giving them the most attention from what I know. And I'm speaking for what I know. So you can kind of correct me on that if I'm wrong. But whoever's giving you the most attention usually is the one that you're going to just default to if they're cute. If they're cute.
You want to stay relevant.
Yeah. Right. I got to stay on her mind because if not, somebody else is going to be on her mind. And that's the one that's going to be in there and make her scream. I don't want him to make her scream. I want to do it.
Shut up. I agree, but at the same time, I think his message, I think also his message says he says it depends on both parties and where their emotional needs are, their level of trust, their schedules, and what their objective is. So think about it from this perspective. You know, like you got two high level executives, you know, who are traveling, doing, you know,
using that word again.
Okay.
High level.
Right. But I'm just, you know,
there's a such thing as higher level.
So depending on what your status is as far as employment, let me just put it that way. So if you on the go, you're traveling, you think that it's necessary to talk to a person every day? Like,
listen, somebody is going to be talking and knocking that down. So you can be busy and you can't communicate. People, you know, we like most people. Okay, I think like to talk, like to interact with people, like to have somebody around, right? So if you're not doing it, they're going to do it somewhere else. In any relationship, you see the lack of communication leads people to go to do other things. It could be the gym. It
could be working extra. It could be taking on extra days at the job.
Absolutely, because now traveling. You have to fill that time. You're filling that time that you're not spending with the other person doing something else. So I know for me personally, there's not been a relationship I've ever been in or a girl I've ever been with that happened because I didn't talk to her. Right? It happened because there was talking there's communication going on.
So
I'm listening.
No, I'm thinking it probably don't matter anymore. I was gonna say, but like on Monday, we having this conversation that, okay, yeah, well, I don't have the vacation days. And then on Tuesday when I come home, you tell me that you going to Costa Rica this weekend with your boys. Like, what?
He's cheating. He's going to cheat.
You're dating. It's the early dating process. So you think
that was a marriage?
You know, he's going to Costa Rica to get him a mommy. He's going to have a mommy down there on his lap. I think that if you enjoy someone, you would want their company. I'm just saying. You know, for the most, I mean, it's different. If it was a boys' trip, that's different. We had a boys' trip. You know, that's totally different. But if they're leaving you all the time, then that's weird to me. Like if I'm someone, I like being around them. I want to be, and that's just me. I want to be around you as much as possible. I like being around you. This is the point
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying this is the point. I think if I'm engaging with you and trying to make something of it, then I know that I have to. What I put into is what I'm gonna get out of it. So I put in every other day. I get every other day out of it. You know, so I'm gonna put in my best, and that's just me. It don't work for everybody, but I can't see me saying, you know what, it's Sunday, I'll talk to you Wednesday because I forgot about you by Tuesday. That's just me. If I don't use my keys every day, I lose them. That's just me.
So, but I kind of agree what part of his statement is. It depends on what your objective is. So if you're not interested
But
in
if
a
your objective is the yams, you don't care about all of that.
Exactly. No. It's you still gotta apply pressure, because if you come around sporadically, it's gonna take you longer to get the yams. And that person
so
who's gonna be
what if you're not
diligent,
interested
you're
in the
gonna.
yams?
So what you
It's
talking
not,
for?
let me just say this. Let me
What are you
rephrase that.
talking for?
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking for. I'm not getting yams.
From a man's point of view, yeah, yams are important, but what if it's not a priority?
When isn't it? I'm confused. So I know when it's not. I mean, like I said, most times when and again, I'm not speaking for all. I just know a lot of the guys I know. If you meet girls, because you want the yams, like, yo, she look good as shit, my nigga. Like, we gonna take that down. Like, that's what it is. And then after you take it down, you find out if you want it or not. I'm just saying that's kind of how it goes. So I don't know any guy who's really like, I really like her and I want to take her out, spend my money on her, and take her to movies, and hopefully she'll like me back.
Girl, well, Jarrell, there isn't. There's different types of men. There's different types of men. So, Jarrell.
You're right. There are different type of men, but I would say the majority are not trying to, when they first meet you. They're not thinking the way you're thinking. I'm just saying.
I didn't say that, and they don't know what I'm thinking.
That's what I don't know what you're thinking. I didn't know what most time what we're thinking. It's yams are usually very high on the list. I'm just saying.
All right. We're gonna leave that alone.
Right. I'm just saying, I don't know why. Again, if I don't want yams, I don't know why I'm talking to you. I don't know we're gonna play basketball with you. Hey, you know what out there? No, thank you.
Okay. I
don't know what we're talking for.
So what about these blended families? Boundaries in the blended families. Like, should you be involved with all of the children during dating? Like at what point?
So it's very tough. It's very tough when you introduce your children to someone, because again, like I said, if it doesn't work, you don't want a whole bunch of people in and out your child's life, right?
Right.
And I don't want to be in and out a lot of children's lives either. If somebody has a child, I don't want to be in their life. We don't work out, and I'm out. Every 3 months this happened. Every 6 months this happened. By the time she's 12, she knows 14 different people.
All right.
That's weird, and I think that leaves her to think certain things are okay, I believe. So I have original daughter, I'm very aware of that. I don't have everybody around my daughter. I just don't. Which makes it very difficult to date, because when I have her, then I can't. I'm busy, right? I live with her. So
will you talk to the person on the phone, even like when you have her, or?
No, not really, because she's not having it. She's like, who's that? Why are you on is that a woman? We ain't on. So, we're not, that's not what's happening over here at this point. She's just not.
She's the
allowed,
boss of you.
until she goes to sleep. Oh, absolutely. A little girl will change the toughest man and have him do whatever she wants. So she's in control. I know this. I gave up.
I would say, I don't know. I wouldn't say boss. I know I feel the same way. Goodness. I'm agreeing with this man. So for me, yeah, when it comes to the guys, I don't, for the most part, talk to any guys in front of my son. Like, now he's older, he's 15, so he's
flexing.
Flexing, could care less who I'm talking to or whatnot, and somewhat giving me permission to date, openly, but but previously I just never had conversation, or I would disguise my conversation, if it happened to if they were in front of him. For one, and it's not because he's the boss, but my thing is, I don't want to send that message that, mommy's, talking to this guy and that guy, because honestly, I have a mix of friends, guys that I talk to and guys that I'm just friends with. So I don't want him to perceive me, or that, mommy's talking, she's some little thought or whatever, I don't want to send that image. So I separate that. And there is a boundary, like, again, and I've expressed this before, there's no one that will come to my home, I just cut those things off. And if he can't accept that, then so be it. But at this particular time, things will change, but at this particular time, that's not on the table. That is definitely a boundary. And
Absolutely. And we want to model good things for our children as well.
right,
We don't want to
Right.
model
right.
what could we understand, but that could they can interpret that, and like for me, I have a daughter. I don't want her thinking it's okay to have a whole bunch of
And
people
the
in and out.
other thing is, I want to make sure that when I do, that my son is emotionally ready to accept a third party in our relationship. Like, I clearly have, conversation with him that I will never bring someone in the home. What? What did I miss?
I was wondering if it was me. It was me.
Shut up. I would not bring anyone into the home unless I
She
knew
just
that
canceled you out, Daryl.
that that they would appreciate and respect and like him just as much as they appreciate, respect, and like me. So
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
I don't think that's healthy at all. Boundaries with exes and kids.
So
See,
like
and
you,
that gets weird because once you move on, can you and they move on, can that new relationship sustain you still coming around, being an ex and not being a parent to that child, but now you're just ex that had a relationship with that child? Can that your new relationship withstand that? I think that's a conversation to have,
Yeah.
right? Because it's tough. It's a very tough conversation to have, and it's that relationship is over, and under this person really doesn't have anything with kids. But I guess it depends how long they're with the kids. It would be something you would have to talk about if they were around the kid for a long time. For me, if that person was around them for 10 years, 5 years, and they kind of looked at him as a father figure, then I would have to respect that, right? I would have to respect that. If I respect you, I got to respect you and what you come with. As long as we keep it respectful, but I can see that being tough. But again, it's one of those questions that you have to really talk about.
Yep. Yeah.
It is definitely a question to talk about because even if you have, like April, you touched on it a little bit, but I guess you're speaking from a 15-year-old perspective. What about if you have decided to date and say your children are young adults? Like you might have teenagers, but then you also have a set of kids or a kid who is a young adult. And when the parent that has this young adult is spending time with that person, it's no compromise in regards to our time. Like, not so much as no compromise. There is compromise. Like, okay, go be with your daughter. Go be with your son. I'll catch you on the other side.
Right.
Because that relationship precedes me, and I'm not trying to disrespect it, but that would be like a boundary to also give the person, the adult in the relationship that has to make that decision between their older children and their new partner. It kind of makes it easy if you talk about it.
Right.
And this weekend XYZ is coming in town, or we're going to the basketball game or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool, enjoy yourself.
Right.
As opposed to getting inferior. Oh, you always spending time with.
Yes.
You always unavailable.
I think that's when I hear people say that, and unfortunately I hear more females that say that, I think it's just is selfish, and because that is their child, whether they're an adult or not.
X is calling at night.
Listen.
Calling at night. You better not. I'm Big Red. What are my office hours? What are my office hours? No,
it depends on what they're calling for.
No, yeah, exactly. What is he calling for? Because this is mine now. It ain't no reason for him to call.
Oh my God. Mine, we property.
It's mine now. Yeah.
Oh,
Ain't no property.
right. Thank you.
Listen, stop it. Women, the first person to talk about somebody, they man, it's my man. Stop it. You know what we mean. Backing up.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, me either.
We'll be free. We'll be free then. I'm just saying. I just think, you know, I think it's weird for an ex to call at night. I think it's disrespectful. I think that it's what are you calling for?
Know, here's the thing.
You can do all that you want, April. This is why women have their relationship messed up because they had nothing to still call.
This is the thing, though, about exes calling at night.
Hold on, Miss Mary. Hold on.
Okay, my bad. I'll take a sip.
All right. Don't be snapping at me, Daryl, because you don't know what I'm shaking my head for. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So if there's a problem with my son, there's if he's going through something, especially at 15, and he needs to talk to his dad, I'm calling at 10 o'clock at night. Whatever the case may be.
Why can't he call?
Why can't your son call?
Well,
why can't he call?
Okay,
so what you got to call for? It's over. He can call. He grown. This is what the woman is saying in his ear. Like, why he got to call? He grown. He got a phone. But that's different. I'm sorry, April. I would say that's different, right? I thought we were just talking about it. Not that situation. I can't say anything about a situation where it's a parent. That's different to me.
If there's a medical issue, and I'm talking, that's why I say it depends. If there's a medical issue, emergency, yes, a medical emergency. Or
even if it's something's coming up, something's coming up at school or something like that, and you just forgot about it. I get all that. That's parent, right? You're still your parent. I can't get away with that. As long as it's not like all the time or.
I ain't calling to say hi. I don't like that. That would never. That's never going to happen. So.
But the thing I think that gets tricky about exes calling at night, or when it becomes a boundary issue, would be. It was a time that the ex could call at night even while they've been in ex status. And there's been time that the ex was able to call at night and you'd be like, well, come on over. So the time that you don't have a conversation, the time that you don't have the conversation to let that ex know that you have really officially established another relationship, like that's also the conversation to be like, okay, yeah, you can't call
right
at these hours.
So it's weird. So sometimes you can't stop someone from doing something, right? But I think it's how you respond to that call. So we're watching TV, chilling, the phone rings, X number. Oh, let me get this. Hey, wait a minute. You don't got to get that, right? Let it go to voicemail. I think it's how important you make that call. And
no, I'm not talking about a parent. Because when you
I'm not talking about a parent situation. I'm not talking about a parent situation. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So if it's like you watching TV, and you're on her lap, and she jump up and knock you on the floor and get phone, we have problems, right? So it really just depends on how you're responding to the call. If you got to take another room, you got to hide call, all that makes it kind of to me weird. Like you gotta, I'm gonna go right back, take this call. Where you going? Where we going? You going to the next room? Let's go. Like
that's a little bit of insecurity.
Right.
Oh, it is? Oh, it is? Okay, right. So
it's not totally insecurity because I did take it there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why'd you take it to another room?
Right. Why'd you take the call?
I don't have the insecure. Yeah, you took the call and now you have to go to another room. If we're open and I'm already cool with this relationship because you got to call for a certain reason, then if you got to talk away from me, I think that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's already kind of violating us because you're talking to your ex anyway for whatever reason. Now you got to go talk alone. I'm confused. I'm really confused on why you got to talk alone.
So what about if it's not an ex, but it is somebody of the opposite sex as you, and you and this other person who's calling never really had that type of relationship? Where's the boundary get created on accepting that phone call after whatever hour?
So I had to learn it myself. Like sometimes my clients call me 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, they would call. And for me, I just want to be attentive. All right, what you guys need? Oh, what are you doing? Whatever the case may be. Just not really not aware of, I guess, what may be happening or what I'm allowing to happen by taking these calls, at this time of night. And, yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you calling this late? I'm like, oh, you bugging, you being insecure. And as she talked to me about it, it's like, no, it's not. I think she says disrespectful to your time, right? You should have business times, and this is your time. You shouldn't be able to access you all the time, and you shouldn't be taken away from us. I was like, yo, you're right. You are right. When she put it in that way, I was able to see, like, this is, people shouldn't be calling me at 10 o'clock to talk about working out. It's not that serious. I can talk to you more at 8,
I remember. Go ahead, April.
I was just going back to the taking the call in a different room. I'm just gonna throw in a hypothetical situation. So there's
they're all giving you the look.
Go ahead, I'm waiting.
The ex is also your business partner.
Oh hell no! Oh hell no!
I know several people that's the situation.
It's
like business partner with.
I am buying him out. I'm buying his part of the business out. We're not doing that.
Listen,
it's big business.
It's big business when you own several properties and.
Right.
Yeah.
So business matters is not a discussion for all three of us. It's a discussion between partners.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
Because now you're talking about my money.
Wait a minute. You're my partner. So again, go be his partner.
No, we can't be partners, but we can be business partners.
And we're still our partnership that we have on our relationship trumps everything else. Everything else comes outside of that. So your business. It doesn't? Okay, well listen, if your business is more important than us, then have fun with your business. Because I'm not business being second. Excuse me. I am not in. I am not going to be second to your and doing your ex's business. So again, if you have to do things by yourself, then be by yourself. If you got to hide it from me, then go be alone. So have fun with your business because you're not my business. I'm just saying.
See, that would be insecurity. That would be insecurity,
right?
No, it's not, because again, if you have a relationship, for me, not at all. My relationship is built on me and my partner having trust in each other and building together. So if you're doing anything that I can't be a part of or you're keeping away from me, then that's a problem. There's nothing in my life that my partner cannot share in, right?
Daryl,
and they're not sharing as far as being
we're not married. We're only dating. We're not married.
Okay, so listen. How do you get married? Because I think you got to practice how you play. We talked about this before. If I'm only giving 20% in the beginning, then how do we get to the end? Because when you get a ring, do I magically get something different? Are you going to be a different person?
This is what I'm saying. When relationships grow in different seasons, you got to have a different conversation. So if you have invested at a high level, that you got property, you might have other large entities together because your relationship was just like that. You got to be able to, you ain't got to tell them how much it is, but you got to communicate because that relationship is benefiting on your investment in that relationship.
Everything needs to be discussed at a certain point if you're going to move further.
Okay, right? But you got to determine where we are in our development. Exactly. Because I'm not going to tell you that we got a 6-figure business and we're not married. Like, no, because then now you're going to look at me like a dollar sign walking around everywhere. When I'm just walking around, driving around on my foot.
You're going to hide that until when?
I mean, it's not hidden because, again, you have reaped the benefits of my status.
Wait.
It isn't hidden because before, as we were dating, you were aware of my ex. You were aware of the business partnerip that we had. Okay.
Yes.
So it depends on.
I didn't know a dollar amount.
I
didn't know a dollar amount, but I would like to know what the other person is into, right? Because as we get closer, I should know what you're into.
Right.
Just so I know. I should be surprised one day and see you on Forbes 100 and I didn't know because I didn't know anything about you, then I don't know you. I don't know you. I should, again, I
You're
don't have to
going
know
to
like
the extreme.
every stream, but I didn't know what you do. You're right.
The Forbes
So
magazine,
I'm a
like
drug
they
dealer.
pay so much they on Forbes magazine, and you ain't know nothing before they made it that far. That's extreme.
Right.
Hey man, look at, some of these people live very, 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 very frugal. They don't just put it all out there, so you don't know, right? You don't know. So I'm just saying that I would think you need to talk to each other. You need those things because if I'm a hustler, I'm selling drugs, making all this money doing drugs, and I don't tell you, that's cool. Now when the cops come, can you? I mean, drug houses, you know, funneling business through the
let me just say, a street drug dealer, you can.
Yeah, well, if you're messing with a street drug dealer, then you need to step your game up. Like, that's bad to begin with.
Sometimes they can invest better in your businesses.
So
it might be at a high risk ticket, but they can invest better in your business.
So what? You just need to know what your person's into. So when the feds come, you don't got to go to jail with everybody else. And you be like, I didn't know. They're like, yes, you did. You benefited from my status.
I benefited, but I ain't know all that was going on.
Yeah, they're not gonna believe you.
I don't know nothing.
Ain't no phone record. So what do you mean from like the ex?
No, the ex is borrowing money for the kids. Like, I got the kids this weekend, but can you give me $200 so I can take them to X, Y, and Z? I'm gonna give it back to you, baby. Please, baby, please.
Well, it's weird, right? Because if they're parents, I don't know why I'm paying for you to take care of your kids. That would be weird. But if we have a relationship, like, oh, I would take them, I'm kind of short, I give it back to you. I don't know if I would get in the way of that. It's for the kids. As long as I know you guys are, you know, he's paying back or she's paying back.
You know he ain't gonna give it back.
Well, then it would happen one time, right? Like, oh, it didn't come back. Well, then we're done with that, you know. Because again, I would want to do it because I would want the kids to have. I wouldn't want them to miss out. And they said I want to take them at their word because again, if we're having a blended family, I want it to run as smoothly as possible. I'm just saying, I would want to. For what? What for what? She may see my
I don't even know why
card, maybe.
Question, but I'm gonna just let her live.
No, it's great. I like her questions because spawning other things is that one right there. I'm not. You might be a scammer. I don't know you that well yet. Just know I have money in the bank sometimes.
Right.
I think I can pay for dinner tonight.
She's like, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know why she asked this question because she don't even want people to see her debit or credit card number. Like,
yeah, that's tough. It's tough. So I'm no bank, credit card, not yet. That's a little early. Hey, baby, girl, I only knew for 2 weeks. Girl. What you asking about that information for?
Right?
Cause I see you drive around in this truck and then you came in the Beamer. Like, I'm trying to understand how I can get a couple dollars.
I sell drugs.
No, that's not what you told the police officers in your community.
No. I told them some other things. I told my neighbors I sell drugs though. When they asked me what I did, I told myself drugs. They never talked to me since. Got it. They asked me some dumb questions. They gave dumb answers. Left me alone.
So, any other boundaries we need to cover? We on 1.43. We've been flowing.
I saw that there was some intellectual boundaries, like can't date a guy.
But you know, sometimes
date a dumb guy.
You can't date a dumb guy.
Oh.
No.
I don't. Again, yeah.
The compatibility is not about the intellectual situation.
Yes, it is. Sorry.
No, I'm not agreeing. I'm saying most of the people who engage in those type of situations, the compatibility is not about being able to maintain a conversation.
Right. Okay. All right.
That's what I was saying.
I don't know. Sometimes, well, like I said, I would say that men can talk themselves out of it, right? And if they're dumb, saying dumb stuff, wouldn't that just kind of ruin it?
Not always, because you could just be like, just shh.
My favorite color red.
Like,
girl, did you bump your head when you fell from heaven? I mean, at a certain point, you're like, you know what? He cute, but I can't. Now, guys, she dumb, but we can because she got a patty. We're going to
what?
totally different. We're going to. I don't care how dumb she is. If she got a patty, it's going to go down. Like, ooh, she dumb as a doornail.
Wow.
But
what is the butt though?
But I mean, whatever you're attracted
to.
Butt? Huh? Whatever you're attracted to, you know, whatever she has that she like, breast,
some people
butt,
might be attracted
hair.
to getting their back thrown out.
That's cool for her. I don't know what women are attracted
and
to.
That's temporary.
This is why men move. This is why men's numbers are so high because there's no attachment. Seek and destroy. That's why. You know, we're trained. I think we train boys the wrong way. We don't train them at all. I think we leave them out there to learn on their own. You know, we teach them to play basketball and sports and stuff like that, but we don't teach them how to, you know, really be with a woman. And that's a real problem. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
Having no boundaries is a boundary.
Yeah, exactly. Having no
boundaries is a boundary.
Like just willy-nilly allowing everything. But that would be somebody who doesn't have a true sense of self, like who they are and what they stand for.
Right.
Right, Daryl?
I'm processing the no boundaries. I'm processing the no boundaries.
They're easy yes. They are people pleaser. They are easy yes. They are whatever you want. They going with the flow.
Oh, we call them good girls.
Nah, they're not always good girls.
They're going with the flow, let you do whatever you want. I'm pretty sure that's a good girl.
No,
better than that.
Not necessarily. It could be a girl who wants to be kept. Because you got a truck and you got a Beamer and you got a whole house.
Cool. Guess what? You got to use what you want to get what you got. So as long as you're doing whatever that you want, I'm pretty sure you're winning at the time. So I can't see it being a bad thing. I'm just saying, I don't see her doing whatever being a bad thing.
That's a mess.
Like I said, that's called a good girl.
He's a mess.
Why is it good girl? Because she's complying to whatever you're asking?
Yeah. Anytime you can get someone to do, if someone does whatever you want, I'm pretty sure that's the perfect person for whoever.
That seems like it's no challenge. It's just like eating a cheese puff. There's nothing in there. It's just a cheese puff.
No, but who wants a challenge all the time? That's the problem. We don't want a challenge. We don't want to challenge. That's the problem. You guys want us to make it a challenge, right? That's the problem.
That's why they go to the white women.
Again, I don't believe in that. All women are the same. Like women all have attitudes. Women do the same. That one group of women don't do this and they don't. That is the oldest trope in the book. These women are pretty not, in a negative way, but I'm saying all women are women. And I don't think that any do or don't do or it's not. I've met women who have attitudes or black women did. So it's just really what people say, and they use that to kind of. I really think to really just put down our queens because it's not really true, to be honest. From my experience, from my seen, it's not really true.
Okay.
Grow where? Where are we growing?
I don't know what we were saying that she wrote that, so you don't want to grow. So Tanya, you gotta say what you was talking about, or what we was talking about the not wanting to grow. Because we don't know, and it's always a delay with comments coming up and what we saying.
Yeah. But Hey, you on a panel tonight, Tanya. You're the fourth person.
She might as well have came on the screen.
You know what I mean? He was putting up there, typing away.
In the store laughing at folks.
Mm-hmm. Looking crazy. Like, what is she laughing at?
They wasn't even ready.
Back to it.
So she said, when you don't have a challenge, then you don't want to grow or change.
So you have a challenge to grow and change? I'm confused. I don't think that we can grow and change together without challenge.
Daryl sounds like he doesn't want resistance.
He sounds like he don't want what?
Resistance.
No,
right, but not necessarily resistance, and it don't have to be challenge. I think in the way that you're saying the word challenge, but like you can have a thought and somebody gives you a different perspective, and it creates an authentic and enjoyable conversation around the perspective that you weren't aware of. You heard challenge as a conflict, and conflict is not always bad.
Yes.
So that's why I say he doesn't like resistance or doesn't want resistance.
No. Mary kind of said it. The word challenge in itself has more of a negative connotation to it, the way I took it. But again, if we're definitely healthy debate or healthy conversation where we're on different ends of things, that's fine. I definitely want them to be able to speak their mind, but I don't want it to be a challenge, like we're trying to challenge each other. I mean, no, I don't want that. No.
For food.
Did you say for food?
She added challenge intellect.
Well, again, if healthy debates have a different train of thought or your opinions made different, that's fine to voice that. I'm not saying that, but again, I just said it more as the negative way of challenge. So no, if that healthy dialogue, that's what I definitely want that. For me, I like the conversation. I love to talk. So if you have something to say, then we can talk about things. That's dope.
But that's the thing about certain words, like they have to be put into context, because like conflict doesn't have to be bad. It could be engaging conversation, but it's like you have to learn or be open to that new perspective, just as the word challenge. Like especially the way we led into it. We led into it with, okay, so is that why people date colonizers or white people?
Yeah.
And so like saying that and then coming back with the word challenge or conflict, then you're connecting that to the ethnic disparity or differences that was put in there, when it really was just a general comment.
Absolutely. So again, we have to be able to talk to our whoever we're speaking to, and sometimes we got to understand. I mean, like I said, we use a word that is usually very negative. We got to understand that someone may take it that way, but that's why we have to ask that question as well, and really, and again, so she's technical, so it's difficult because we can't hear her tone either, right?
Right.
So, and that's the thing. There's no tone, so you just automatically go off what you feel, what you're used to, right? So for me, I want to hear challenge. It's like challenge, it's just a very,
or like when you telling people with the fast feet real quick, like we got a fast feet challenge, and everybody in there trying to get the most feet.
Absolutely. So that's the difference. But it's interesting why, like I said, words are very important in how we use them. Sometimes we're having the same conversation, but having a different conversation, because words mean different things, and we're going different ways, and we think we're having the same conversation. The person may be answering, but they're answering something that you didn't ask.
Right. Oh wait. Black men get a bit upset because a black woman can see them in a way a white woman may not. Sneezy, she took it right back there.
Wait, what? We get upset? Why would we get upset? I'm confused.
Because you get defensive. You think you begin to have that affinity to other ethnicities, that you begin to categorize the women who are melanated, that they're only going to see you in one particular way. So then let me go somewhere where I could be elevated in a different way.
Wow. Again, and maybe I don't know. And that's not my experience, right? Because I know that the only person who can really see me is someone who looks like me and been through my experience, right? So I know anybody outside of me is not going to have the same experience or know where I'm coming from, right? So I dated a white girl like in what we just worked together for about 2 years, and we in that time got closer. And what made us get closer was that she was she never tried to act like she knew my struggle. And we work with kids, and she never tried to act like she knew their struggle, but she tried to help from her as best as she could. And I thought that was cool because it was not her trying to be something or, something she was not. Like, she never tried to, adopt a different, lexicon around me or whatever the case may be. And that was cool. But again, we understood our differences as well. It was never a thing like, well, I knew she could never understand anything what I was going through. Cry, but you could because you don't want that. So I don't know. I would get mad at anyone because whatever the statement was. I don't see that. But maybe she did. That's just for me. I never really looked at it that way.
Okay. So
That's very interesting.
You said very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. I never really I think I've ever really heard anything like that before. Very interesting. Did somebody?
Okay, so what's the that
like
you never heard before?
That black men are mad at black women because of whatever I can't remember the exact comment. I would say no, because there's a whole new pain being with a white woman, because the looks you get are crazy. Like like when you're out, you're reminded of what you guys are all the time. I remember going out to eat and the waitress really being like, I know she was just like, I can't believe you in here with her. Like, she was up to set for me. And I noticed again when we were alone, I didn't notice it, but when we were in the world, I really knew she was white and I was black. I really knew it. When we left the house, like, oh damn. Sometimes I would like walk away from her, like, this is crazy. Why are you over here? Like, I'll see you at the house. It was very, it was traumatic in itself to me. Now I can't speak for everyone. I know it's very traumatic. It was a whole different trauma because of just everybody looking, and it was bugged out. Even one time he asked her, "Was she okay?"
Right.
Wow.
So it was a different type of. To me, it was a different type of trauma. It wasn't. It was weird. I don't think it was I don't know about it being safe, but I think some people do kind of feel that way and say silly things like that. That's colonized mindset, I believe, that would say some silly.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Trying to keep us separate at all costs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So do we have any closing thoughts or things that we like to leave the audience with? It seemed like camp is in our comments.
I didn't see pop up from camp. Hi, camp.
And Net has joined us in the conversation as well. She's still there.
Can't see those.
Hi, Net.
I know you can. I'm sorry. If she's not in the comments, I know that she's looking. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. We kind of covered a variety. I mean, we went from smoking, being a whole person, and then being a threesome, to the boundaries and talking about with your partners and how relationships stage themselves. And then we just
April
like really
being
went.
in heat.
What?
April being what?
In heat. We've seen The Rock. We've seen Meth.
Oh yeah, those are my celebrity crushes. So yeah, I wouldn't call it.
She said something about earlier too. We first got on.
Oh yeah, who was the? No, you said who was the verses with the other day? I'm sorry, I'm out of it.
Method Man.
Yeah, you posted Method Man and looking like him, like a snack. Thank you,
did
Liz.
not say that.
What
That
you
was
said?
you,
You said,
Gary. I
That
don't.
wasn't me. I
I didn't
wasn't
say
me.
nothing. Man looked like a snack.
Two
The
scoops looking for
the
a snack, huh?
article,
I'm
the
not looking for no snack.
the article. Look, check. That was on my personal page. So yeah, it talked about how Method Man looked good for 50, and he does. That's all I said.
I know, but then there was
I
a
don't
comment made about 50 or somebody's a certain
wait, but
age.
I thought when
50.
we first got on, she was talking about a friend or something.
She was.
April
She
was.
she was the cup.
Oh
She
my
don't remember no
goodness.
more with the cup.
Yeah, she's glowing again. See, the glow is back.
Uh-huh.
See, the glow is back. So we don't know what's going on over there. Just
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Eat the dirt. I know what you're talking about. You over there making up stuff.
Oh God.
hey,
They
everybody
got
who
some
broadcast first
He
like
must have
5 minutes.
missed me last week, huh?
yeah, you know, you take a week off in these parts, you get extra love when you come
Goodness.
back.
I see. She said not the glow.
Mm.
No, I don't know what glow he talking about.
You know the glow. You said your drink was from earlier, left over from
Oh.
Yeah,
earlier.
and she went off camera, so that means she did a refill. Can I get a
Oh
refill?
my goodness.
Yeah, see, we pay attention to everything.
I see. Y'all building on stories too.
We're gonna get it when we get in the green
Watch
room, y'all. Just so y'all know, we about to get it. She not gonna say it
every
on live.
No.
the replay. You'll hear what she said about him.
About him.
I will never
Him
tell.
downstairs.
Oh, somebody said Rick James had the glow. Has a song glow.
Yes.
Ah.
So, but boundaries are I think important. I think there's I think boundaries. With as you get closer to the person, I think you'll enforce more or explain more. Tell more what you want as far as with that other person. And then what I did learn, boundaries can change throughout the relationship. There may be some things that maybe you weren't for in the beginning, and that you changed to, or things you thought you were okay with, and changed away from them. Boundaries are fluid.
They can be fluid. They should be fluid. As long as you trust yourself and being vulnerable, but at your own pace, but not at a deception, not, with deception, but being clear at the pace that you feel is good. Like if you in a relationship, you have children, about the finances, if you got old business deals with exes, like you just got to be honest about that type of stuff and share in regulation. Like you don't have to share how much the business deal is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
sometimes
women
people can really
tell
work
the truth.
well together as business owners, but they can't work well once you add the intimacy part into it.
Women tell the truth.
We always do.
Men tell the truth.
Women do not tell the truth.
We do.
And boundaries don't necessarily have to be negative. There could be some positive ones. But I think we just have to. Now that's another conversation. We're closing the conversation, right?
No, don't try to throw this stuff out here with nothing. Like, there's some good boundaries, but
so my point is, don't a lot of people just perceive boundaries as the no's, the
what
rejection.
Are the good boundaries? We need to hear the good one, April.
I'll tell you in the green room.
No,
so on that note, y'all, I'm gonna help save the ship.
The community needs to know the good boundaries.
Live in this conversation. Thank you for catching us on the replay. Be sure that if you would love to engage in these lovely shenanigans and fun throughout the week, come on over to the Relationship Flow group where it gets live in there.
A round of applause for everybody.
And then Daryl, of course, has invited like 4 new friends. He trying to get some camaraderie up in there.
He need
I
backup.
listen. I don't need backup. I hold it down my own. But
Oh, my bad.
I think this is a room that is very influential, and there's a lot of things learned here, and it's definitely a great room of Black love, melanated love in this room. So I definitely want to invite people here because it's a great room.
Absolutely. I guess I'm supposed to share that on Wednesday I will be having a conversation about Black love. As soon as you said it, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing that.
Look at that. Look at that segue.
Yeah, so join us.
Black love.
Myself and another colleague will be having a conversation about Black love on Wednesday at 8. And I will stream it through the Relationship Flow group, as well as my personal profile. So you can join us. I think we'll be talking about your friend, Darrell.
Ooh.
These
My
influencer
friend
type
Darrell.
people. You know, you got friends that's influencers.
Oh. I don't think you guys should. I don't think you should.
Well,
I
not
don't
talking
think.
about him per se, but influencers is definitely going to come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people know how to take the meat, spit out the bone. I think
Yeah, no,
no
we
one.
we not going there, but Black love is
Yeah.
revolutionary, and we welcome everybody's engagement. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a
yeah,
good conversation. Black love is so crazy.
and it's so different
So it's
today
so
than it
different, right?
is. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
absolutely.
So we'll both be coming from a Caribbean location, so feel free to tune in because it's a different Caribbean location.
I heard.
So all right, Iriman, see you all on the flip side.
Good
Thanks
night.
for joining us this
Have,
evening.
have a good night.
Good night.